Hey there! What if I told you a totally average person with $100,000 could turn it into a full $1 million without ever touching it again? Sounds fake, right? Well, it's not magic. It's math. Warren Buffett is worth $141 billion today. But here's the wild part. Roughly 95% of that fortune showed up after he turned 65. Buffett didn't get mega rich by picking genius stocks in his 30s. He got rich by waiting. So how does money quietly multiply into a fortune? What's the actual math behind turning $100,000 into $1 million? And what can regular people actually copy from Buffett? In this video, we're breaking down the real power of compound interest. Let's get started. What actually is compound interest? Compound interest is just interest earning interest on itself. Say you invest $100,000 at 10% a year. Year 1, you earn $10,000. Now you have $110,000. Year 2, you don't earn 10% on the original $100,000. You earn 10% on $110,000. That's $11,000. Doesn't sound huge yet, but that gap keeps widening every single year because you're earning interest on interest on interest. This is completely different from simple interest, where you'd only ever earn $10,000 a year, forever. Compound interest isn't linear, it's exponential. And exponential growth looks boring for years, then suddenly explodes. Interesting fact. Imagine someone hands you a single penny, but it doubles every single day for 30 days. Day 1, 1 cent. Day 10, about $5. Feels like a joke, right? But by day 30, you'd have over $5.3 million from 1 penny. That's compounding, purely on speed. The real journey. From $100,000 to $1 million. Turning $100,000 into $1 million means multiplying your money by 10 times. So how long does that actually take? At a 7% return, roughly the long-term inflation-adjusted stock market average, it takes about 34 years. At a 10% return, close to the S&P 500's historical average since 1928, it takes about 24 years. At a Buffett-level 20% return, it takes just 13 years. Notice something? A jump from 7% to 10% doesn't just shave off a few years. It cuts an entire decade off the timeline. And here's the part most people miss. Almost all the growth happens in the final years. If you chart it out, the line looks almost flat for the first 2/3 of the journey, then rockets upward at the end. Buffett himself compares this to a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but the longer the hill, the bigger it gets. Interesting fact. There's a shortcut called the rule of 72. Divide 72 by your interest rate, and that tells you how many years it takes your money to double. At 8%, your money doubles every 9 years. At 12%, every 6 years. It's rough math, but it's shockingly accurate. Warren Buffett's actual strategy. Buffett bought his first stock at age 11. Berkshire Hathaway has compounded at close to 20% annually since he took control in 1965. When Buffett turned 65 in 1995, his stake was worth around $3 billion. 30 years later, $141 billion. Here's the number that should really startle you. Researcher Morgan Housel calculated that if Buffett had started investing later in life with less capital, even at the same incredible 22% returns, but stopped investing at 60 like a normal retiree, he'd have ended up with about $11.9 million. Impressive, but nowhere close to $141 billion. The difference isn't skill, it's decades of extra time. And Buffett's actual advice for regular people isn't pick stocks like me. It's the opposite. He said if you buy an S&P 500 index fund consistently, you'll compound to a large amount of money. Section 4. How regular people actually use this. Here's the part that changes how you should think about investing. Time beats amount. Picture two people. Person A invests $5,000 a year, starting at 25, but only for 10 years, then stops completely. Total invested, $50,000. Person B invests $5,000 a year, starting at 35, for 30 straight years. Total invested, $150,000, 3 times more. Assuming the same 8% return, person A, who invested far less money, ends up ahead. Why? Those extra 10 early years let compounding work on person A's money the whole time nobody was watching. This is the single most avoidable mistake people make, waiting for the right time or a bigger paycheck to start. The starting amount matters far less than most people assume. The starting date matters enormously. So the next time someone tells you they're waiting to have enough before they start investing, you'll know the truth. Compound interest doesn't reward the biggest amount. It rewards the earliest start. Buffett's real secret was never stock-picking genius. It was 80 years of simply staying invested and letting time do what time does. Whatever amount you have right now, the worst thing you can do with it is wait. If you want a full video breaking down what life actually looks like at every income and wealth level, from broke to billionaire, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.